Hey everybody,
This is Kim.
this is Gal, and you're listening to Shiny Things. Today we have a special guest. His name is Pickles.
Pickle Pants.
Little Pickle
To be
Pants.
precise.
MCP Pants.
You know what I pictured? The kitty cat with the MC Hammer pants on.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
My
God.
friend who sews, she's like, if I ever find pickle material, I'm going to literally make him a pair of pickle pants.
Oh my God. I'm sure he'll love that.
Oh, yeah.
What cat doesn't like getting dressed up?
Oh, he let me put a shirt on him. And the shirt said, "Where's my balls?" And I put it on the day I brought him home from being neutered.
That was just mean.
He doesn't miss them. It's got to be easier to walk around without them.
I would think so. I mean, why would you want them? But
I
anyway.
don't know. I'm sure he doesn't know what he's missing. So, before we get started, we are officially launching our Crazy Is as Crazy Does, The Life of a Serial Killer by John H. Mudgett giveaway. So you'll see our little video on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you give it a little like, we will put you in the running for next week's book. We will draw the name on Wednesday, so that way we can announce the winner in next week's podcast.
That's exciting.
I know, it's so exciting. And he personally signed all of the books, and you get a really cool bookmark with it. So, and it was such a good book. So, I'm excited. I hope everybody else is excited.
I was excited reading that book.
I know, you finished
My
it.
heart was fluttering when I was reading it.
And then the ending, I'm like, there has to be a second part.
When he got to the end, I was like,
Right.
I couldn't, it was just, surprised me.
It was so good. So we're excited to share it with you guys, and he's been kind enough to give us 4 to give away. So all through September, we will be giving away a book a week.
And hopefully soon, we'll be able to pick his brain. See where all that crazy came from.
I know, because we have a bunch of questions, too. But for today, I wanted to kind of do something a little lighter, since last week's show was a real bummer with the Bath school incident. But this week, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but the Cecil Hotel. And then we're really going to focus on the death of Elisa Lam. So that was one of these highly publicized murders. And there's still a lot of questions, even though they've done the autopsy and things like that. But I was interested in the Cecil Hotel. There was actually an American Horror Story season done on it with Lady Gaga.
Oh my God. That was the best season ever.
I say that was like one of my super favorites. That was so well done.
Yeah. I had to actually stop it while I was watching it because my heart was like so just beating out of my chest.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the right words, and I'm not always one for that kind of thing, but that was so good.
Yeah, I loved that season. So, and I'm not sure, but I do think they did some filming in the hotel.
Oh, I don't know.
But,
You're the horror buff. You would know more than me.
That's true. So, the original Cecil Hotel opened its doors on December 20th, 1924. It's located on 640 South Main Street in Los Angeles, California. The hotel was originally built by William Banks Hanner, Charles L. Dix, and Robert H. Shops. So originally the location was going to target like business travelers and tourists, and it was then they brought in designer Loy Lester Smith in a Beaux Arts style, and the construction was done by W.W. Payton. So I mean, this was for its time was amazing. So the hotel cost $1.5 billion to complete.
Wow.
So think about
when was it built?
1924.
Holy moly.
So think of today, that would be billions of dollars.
I mean, that's a lot of money for even now.
Right. But it was beautiful. So the hotel lobby was topped off with, it was completely done in marble, had a stained glass windows everywhere. They had actually planted palm trees in the actual lobby, which I thought was really cool.
Wow.
And they had an alabaster sanctuary. Ultimately, it would become a 19-floor hotel with 700 guest rooms.
That's huge.
I was thinking about that because, when we did H.H. Homes, I was like, I thought that was a big hotel, and I believe there was like 200 to 250 rooms in that. Could you imagine 19 floors and 700 rooms?
That's insane.
I thought that was incredible. So currently the Cecil is actually closed to renovations that started in 2017. And they actually tried to rebrand the hotel, which is now called Stay on Main. It's kind of a sad attempt to hide the past demons and draw in new tourists and business people. But the hotel is like smack dab in the middle of what they call Skid Row in LA.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and Skid Row it's about 40 blocks, and it's just like there's homeless encampments and drug dealing and sex work and all sorts of shady stuff going on.
So when it was built, it was like in the who's who part of California.
Exactly.
And now it's not.
No. Yeah. That's why I'm like, okay, well, the Stay on Main sounds cute and everything, but I guess you got to do what you got to do to try to erase some of the gnarliness. So 5 years after the Cecil actually opened was when the Great Depression set in. So in the 1940s, though, the hospital was still really stylish, and it did draw the attention of a lot of tourists. This was not the last, as the area had turned into Skid Row, unfortunately. So basically, this was the bad part of town. Like I was saying, it's actually a 4-mile radius around the Cecil. So it's in the middle there. And then they have about, the last estimated total was about 10,000 homeless people living in there, which I'm sure has increased.
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, and it's probably drastically increased with COVID. As we know, COVID's fucked a lot of people over, so. But in 2007, the 2000s are weird, new owners took over the Cecil, and they actually refurbished a portion of the hotel. Then, in 2011, the owners tried to rebrand it with the name Stay on Main, but people still know it as the Cecil, and if you look at pictures, there are still signs where it says like monthly, weekly kind of things on it. So it's pretty cool, but when they created the Stay on Main, there's a separate entry for both. So the Cecil still exists, and then the Stay on Main had like its own entrance that they, polishing a turd, but they still all share the same amenities. So it's like,
yeah, not quite as illustrious as it used to be.
Exactly.
But they're grasping at straws trying to keep it open, so I get it.
Well, then in 2014, the hotel sold for $30 million. And
how much did they build it for?
1.5.
Wow.
So, and that was under 100 years later. But by this time, so it was made in 1924, and I have to imagine that it was probably a lot of upkeep that wasn't done to keep it, modernized and things like that. So I can kind of see it going for $30 million. This actually included a 99-year lease on the grounds property. So they have whatever acreage or whatever, that's all owned by the same person. And in 2016, the company that had bought it were committed to preserving the building, especially that grand lobby with the marble and everything.
The palm trees.
Yeah, because marble doesn't really degrade or damage.
No, and it's like that terrazzo flooring.
Oh, right.
That stuff lasts forever.
That's true.
And it's gorgeous. All you gotta do is buff it.
Nice. So they wanted to keep that, so they preserved the grand entrance, and then they ultimately decided that they were going to fix the rest of the building because it was kind of like a hodgepodge at that point where, like some of it was refurbished and some of it wasn't. So they actually closed the building in 2017 for renovations. But with the arrival of COVID, much like all of our lives, the renovations have been put on hold indefinitely at this point. Although,
like everything else,
it's like the perfect time to work on it when you think about it.
Yeah, but if you don't have the money.
Right. So, hopefully one day it'll come back. But there are a lot of elements that actually help create this like mystery around the actual hotel. So let's talk about the sordid past. There's been a lot of deaths in the hotel, which for a 700-room hotel that's been open for, like 75-ish years, this actually doesn't seem, to me, it doesn't sound like a lot of deaths, because I'm sure people die of natural causes and stuff in hotels all the time. So there were 5 suicides, 2 of which were gunshots. 2 people actually ingested poison. 1 fell to their death, and 1 person slit their own throat.
So all of these deaths, did it happen on, I'm just going to say the good side or the bad side?
At this point, it was all the Cecil.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of curious to find out after the Cecil. How many were there?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where the end of our story, Elisa Lam, comes in.
Oh, okay.
So then we have the unknown deaths. These are the ones that we couldn't really kind of put into a category because we don't know if they were accidents, suicides, or if they were killed and just left. So there were 8 unknown deaths. Again, they could have been accidents, suicide. There just wasn't enough information at the scene to determine one way or another what they actually were. And then there is a really popular story that there was a lady that was suspected to have committed suicide by jumping out of her window, and she actually landed on and killed this guy who was walking
oh my goodness,
on the sidewalk.
2 birds.
I know.
That's kind of sad. He was walking, minding his own business.
Exactly. It's kind of like a piano falling on you, you know what I mean? Like when they show you in the city.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad for him. There were 2 murders that occurred. One was the death of a newborn. The mom
oh, that's awful.
said she didn't realize she was pregnant, and they ended up drowning the baby. And then there was
how did she drown it? If she didn't even know she was pregnant.
Well, she delivered it, and then
she drowned it?
Mm-hmm.
So, hold on. I know this isn't your story, but she didn't want the baby, so she killed it. Or is she saying that she didn't drown it on purpose?
Well, she was acquitted, so I don't know ultimately what happened. I think it was one of those, like, insanity pleas because she didn't know she was pregnant. I don't know.
I'm just not saying anything.
I can see where it can happen, but I've been pregnant and I knew.
I know. That's why I don't understand this when people say, I didn't know I was pregnant. I just don't get it.
Right. Because I knew from like day 1. So did my bathroom. And there were also like stories of people that were abused and assaulted because this was a really inexpensive place for sex workers to stay or bring back Johns and things like that. So, of course, you have the violence that comes along with that. But there were some really notable deaths that happened around the Cecil, or deaths that they're like, oh, this person was there. So, your favorite, in 1947, Elizabeth Short, a.k.a. the Black Dahlia, was rumored to have been visiting the Cecil's bar just a few days prior to them discovering her body.
I am fascinated with that story of the Black Dahlia.
So that's why I was like, I want to get this, because then we can start seeing what the ties are, because when I was actually researching, they found, like, her murder's still never been solved, and there were rumors that she was at the bar, but if all of the people that were at the bar with her are long gone by now, because that was
that was a long time ago.
Exactly. So in 1947, even if the drinking age was 16, that's still
Yeah.